Ladies and gentlemen, as we step into 2026, I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself a simple question. When was the last time you truly put yourself first? Not out of selfishness, not out of pride, but out of the understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Prioritizing your mental, emotional, and physical well-being is not an act of luxury. It is the foundation on which everything else in your life is built. When you choose to treat your well-being as a priority instead of an afterthought, you shift the entire direction of your life. Many people go through their days on autopilot, pushing through exhaustion, ignoring stress, and telling themselves they'll rest later. But later rarely comes, and even when it does, it arrives after burnout, frustration, or a physical breakdown has already taken hold. Prioritizing yourself means recognizing that your mind, heart, and body are carrying the weight of your life, and every one of them requires care, intention, and respect. Your mental well-being is the engine of your decision, making your creativity, and your ability to navigate life's challenges. When your mind is cluttered with worry, fear, or overwhelm, opportunities pass you by because you cannot see clearly. Taking time to tend to your thoughts through rest, reflection, healthy boundaries, or even moments of stillness strengthens your ability to handle life's pressures. It allows you to think with clarity instead of reacting from chaos. A mind that is cared for becomes a mind that is capable of building, leading, creating, and rising. Equally yet met is your emotional well-being. Far too often, people ignore their emotions because they don't want to seem weak or overly sensitive. But emotions are not enemies, they are signals. When you feel drained, it's a sign that something is draining you. When you feel anxious, something in your environment is asking for attention or change. When you feel inspired or energized, that too is a guide pointing you toward what aligns with your spirit. Prioritizing your emotional health means honoring what you feel, understanding why you feel it, and allowing yourself to make choices that support your happiness instead of sabotaging it. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, communicating your needs honestly, and letting go of connections that only take from you are all ways to protect your emotional core, your physical well. Your physical being is the vessel through which you experience life, and yet it is often the most neglected. People push their bodies past their limits, sleep less than they need, fuel themselves with stress instead of nourishment, and then wonder why they lack energy or motivation. Treating your body with respect is not about perfection, it is about awareness. Resting when you are tired, moving your body readily, eating in a way that supports your energy, and paying attention to signs of discomfort are essential forms of self-care. A strong body supports a strong mind and a steady heart. When you prioritize all three, mental clarity, emotional balance, and physical strength, you become aligned with your true self. You become more confident, more capable, and more connected to your purpose. You show up better in your relationships, in your work, and in every part of your life because you are no longer functioning from a place of depletion. You are living from a place of fullness, intention, and strength. Setting boundaries to protect your peace is one of the most transformative acts of self-respect you can ever practice. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. They are doors that allow the right people in and keep the wrong energy out. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear disappointing others, being misunderstood, or appearing selfish. But the real truth is that failing to set boundaries is what leads to resentment, exhaustion, and emotional depletion. When you allow everyone to have access to you at all times, you leave no space for yourself. Protecting your peace means understanding that your time, energy, and attention are valuable resources, and not everyone deserves unlimited access to them. Boundaries begin with recognizing what drains you and what strengthens you. It may be people who constantly take without giving, environments that make you feel small, habits that disrupt your focus, or responsibilities you accepted out of guilt instead of genuine desire. When you do not set limits, life begins to pull you in 1,000 directions, none of which lead to your own growth or happiness. Setting boundaries requires courage because it means speaking up, saying no, and taking control of how you want to live. For many, that feels uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to pleasing others or putting everyone else's needs before your own. But discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are learning to do something new. When you choose to protect your peace, you begin to understand the power of saying no. No to conversations that drain your spirit. No to relationships that make you question your worth. No to commitments that overload your schedule. No to behaviors that steal your time and silence your voice. Saying no does not make you rude. It makes you responsible for your own well-being. Every time you say no to something that does not serve you, you are saying yes to yourself, your goals, and your inner peace. Boundaries also help you attract healthier relationships. When you communicate your limits, the right people will respect them, and the wrong people will reveal themselves through their discomfort or resistance. People who genuinely care about you will adjust, support, and honor the standards you set. Those who only want convenience or control will push back, and that clarity is a blessing. Boundaries protect you from emotional manipulation, unnecessary drama, and the habit of giving more than you receive. They teach others how to treat you, and more importantly, they teach you how to treat yourself. Protecting your peace means allowing yourself to step back from chaos, negativity, and situations that disrupt your mental and emotional balance. It means understanding that peace is not something you stumble upon, it is something you create and defend. When you set strong boundaries, you reclaim your power. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You create space for joy, clarity, and purpose. You open the door for a calmer, more centered, and more fulfilling life, one where your well-being is not optional, but essential. Choosing growth over approval is one of the most liberating decisions a person can make, yet it is also one of the hardest. From childhood, many people are conditioned to worry about how they are perceived. Whether they fit in, whether they are liked, whether their choices make others comfortable. This desire for approval often follows them into adulthood, shaping their decisions, relationships, and ambitions. But the pursuit of approval is a cage that slows down growth. When you constantly seek validation from others, you end up living someone else's life instead of your own. Growth requires courage, risk, and the willingness to stand alone if necessary. It demands that you choose your future over other people's opinions. Choosing growth means giving yourself permission to evolve, even if those around you don't understand it. Not everyone will clap for you when you begin to elevate. Some will question you. Some will doubt you. And some will try to pull you back into the version of yourself that was comfortable for them. That's because your growth can expose their stagnation, and your courage can highlight their fear. But you cannot dim your potential to make others feel safe. The purpose of your life is not to be approved by everyone. It is to become the person you were created to be. Approval is temporary, but growth gives you strength, wisdom, and a sense of fulfillment that lasts. To choose growth, you must be willing to step into the unknown. Growth happens when you take on challenges that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. It requires embracing change instead of resisting it. It means being open to learning new skills, exploring new environments, and letting go of old patterns that no longer serve you. This path is not always easy, and it doesn't come with guarantees. But every step forward, no matter how uncertain, builds confidence and resilience. When you choose growth, you choose a life of progress instead of a life of pretending. Approval, on the other hand, keeps you playing small. It leads you to say yes when you want to say no, to follow the crowd when your soul knows a different direction, to silence your voice to avoid criticism, and to settle for what is safe instead of what is possible. People who live for will rarely tap into their true potential because they spend more time managing impressions than building dreams. They look outward for permission instead of inward for purpose. Approval is addictive, but it is also limiting. The moment you let go of the need to be liked, a new world opens, one where your choices are guided by authenticity rather than fear. Choosing growth over approval also means embracing the reality that not everyone is meant to go with you. As you elevate, your circle may shift. Some relationships will strengthen because they support your evolution, while others may naturally fade. This is not a loss. It is alignment. People who are meant for your future will celebrate your growth, not resent it. When you choose growth, you choose freedom. You choose purpose. You choose a life that reflects your dreams instead of other people's expectations. And most importantly, you choose yourself. Letting go of what no longer serves you is one of the most powerful forms of self-transformation you can experience. Yet it is also one of the most emotionally challenging. Human beings familiar routines, familiar relationships, familiar identities, even when those things create stress, stagnation, or pain. We hold on because letting go feels like losing something, when in truth, it is creating space for something better. The moment you release what weighs you down, you give your life permission to rise. Growth often begins with subtraction, and freedom often begins with closure. There are many things in life that once helped you, but no longer fit your journey. People change, seasons change, and your needs evolve. What supported you 5 years ago might be limiting you today. Letting go does not mean something was meaningless. It simply means its purpose has been fulfilled. Holding on to things that have expired, whether relationships, habits, beliefs, or environments, keeps you tied to a version of yourself you have already outgrown. It is like trying to walk into your future while dragging the weight of your past behind you. Eventually, the burden becomes too heavy to carry. Letting go requires honesty. You must be willing to tell yourself the truth about what is hurting you, distracting you, draining you, or delaying you. You must be willing the things you have been pretending are fine or not that bad. Sometimes it is the friendship that consistently takes more than it gives. Sometimes it's the relationship that leaves you feeling unseen or unappreciated. Sometimes it is the job that pays your bills but starves your spirit. Sometimes it is the belief that you are not worthy, not ready, or not capable. Whatever it is, you cannot heal or grow while you continue to protect what is breaking you. Letting go also requires courage. It means stepping into the unknown without guarantees. It means accepting that endings are not failures. They are openings. Many people stay in the wrong situations because they fear loneliness, uncertainty, or judgment. But the truth is that every time you choose to hold on to something unaligned, you are saying no to something better that is meant to take its place. You are delaying your blessings by clinging to your burdens. The longer you hold on to what no longer serves you, the more you shrink your own potential. Letting go is an act of faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your future, and faith that what remains or what arrives next will align with your growth. When you release what is no longer working, you create emotional, mental, and spiritual room for healthier connections, clearer thinking, new opportunities, and deeper self-love. You give your energy a chance to reset. You give your heart a chance to breathe. You give your heart a chance to heal. Most importantly, letting go reconnects you to your power. Instead of being controlled by fear or attachment, you reclaim the authority to choose what belongs in your life. You begin to attract experiences that match your strength rather than your struggle. You stop repeating old cycles because you have finally stepped out of them. Letting go is not the end of your story. It is the moment your story begins to change. Taking bold steps toward your goals is the moment when intention becomes action, when dreams stop living only in your imagination and begin taking shape in the real world. Many people carry incredible ideas, visions, and ambitions inside them, but they never move because they are waiting for the right time. Perfect moment, or for every detail to make sense before beginning. But bold steps are rarely taken under perfect conditions. Boldness requires movement, even when the path is unclear, even when you don't have all the answers, even when doubt tries to whisper that you're not ready. The truth is, no one ever feels fully prepared before doing something great. Preparation grows as you move, clarity develops as you try, and confidence builds as you repeat. Boldness is not the absence of fear. It is a decision to move despite fear. Taking bold steps begins with believing that your goals are worth pursuing. Too often, people talk themselves out of their dreams before they even start. They shrink their ambitions to avoid disappointment or convince themselves that certain opportunities are meant only for special people. But every success story, every great achievement begins with a moment when someone decided to try. They took the first step, even if it was shaky, even if it didn't look impressive to anyone else. That first step is what separates dreamers from doers. A bold step can be as small as sending an email, applying for a position, enrolling in a class, making a difficult decision, or finally admitting to yourself what you truly want. Once you begin, momentum starts to build. Bold steps also require resilience. The path toward your goals will have obstacles, delays, and unexpected challenges. That is not a sign to stop. It is a sign to grow stronger. Many people retreat at the first sign of difficulty because they mistake resistance for failure. But every strong foundation faces pressure, and every worthwhile dream tests your commitment. Boldness means standing firm when the process gets uncomfortable, adjusting your strategy when needed, but never abandoning your vision. You learn from failure instead of fearing it. You gain wisdom from mistakes instead of hiding from them. Every step, even the difficult ones, becomes part of your preparation. Another important part of taking bold steps is understanding that not everyone will understand your goals. When you choose a path is bigger than your environment, some people may doubt you, question you, or try to discourage you. That is because your vision was not given to them. It was given to you. You cannot allow the opinions of those who fear risk to dictate your journey. Boldness requires selective listening, absorbing encouragement, ignoring negativity, and trusting your internal compass. Your dream does not need approval to be valid. It needs action to become real. Bold steps also require discipline. Motivation may get you started, but discipline keeps you moving. Some days you will feel inspired and energized, and other days you will not. Boldness means showing up even on the days when your energy is low or your circumstances are not ideal. It means staying committed to your routine, protecting your time, and doing the work even when results are not immediate. Progress is often quiet before it becomes visible. Taking bold steps toward your goals transforms you. It stretches your abilities, deepens your confidence, and awakens parts of you that would have stayed dormant if you had remained in your comfort zone. Boldness shapes your identity. It turns "I wish" into "I will" and "maybe someday." In day is the day I begin. Every bold step moves you closer to the life you envision, and eventually, those steps lead you to a reality that once felt impossible. Believing that you deserve the life you dream of is the foundation of every transformation, every accomplishment, and every breakthrough you will ever experience. Many people have dreams, but not everyone believes they are worthy of achieving them. They imagine a better future, but deep down they feel undeserving, unqualified, or incapable. This internal conflict becomes a silent barrier that stops progress before it even begins. When you do not genuinely believe you deserve goodness, success, love, peace, or fulfillment, you will sabotage opportunities, shrink your goals, or settle for far less than what your heart truly wants. Believing in your worth is not arrogance. It is alignment with who you are meant to become. This belief begins with understanding that your dreams are not random. They are reflections of your potential, whispers from your purpose, and previews of the person you have the ability to be. The life you imagine is not too big or too bold for you. It is shaped by your strengths, your experiences, and your calling. When you believe that your dream is possible for someone else, but not for you, you are allowing fear, insecurity, or past disappointment to rewrite your identity. You are allowing the echoes of old wounds to drown out the truth of your capability. Believing you does not yet dream means rewriting the story you tell yourself. It means replacing doubt with trust, replacing guilt with self-respect, and replacing fear with faith in your future. Many people struggle with this belief because they have been conditioned to think small. They were taught not to expect too much, not to want too much, or not to stand out. They grew up hearing, "Be realistic." People like us don't get that, or "Don't aim too high." Over time, has not yet met, those messages become internal voices that limit what they believe they deserve. But you must understand that someone else's limitations are not your destiny. Your background does not determine your worthiness. Your mistakes do not disqualify you. Your struggles do not make you inferior. The simple fact that you are here, alive, learning, growing, and dreaming is evidence that you are worthy of a full and meaningful life. Believing that you deserve your dream also requires self-compassion. Too often, people judge themselves harshly, focusing on everything they have done wrong, everywhere they fell short, and every time they didn't meet their own expectations. But you cannot build your future while constantly punishing yourself for your past. Self-compassion allows you to acknowledge mistakes while still choosing growth. It allows you to forgive yourself and move forward with strength instead of shame. When you treat yourself with the kindness and patience you would offer someone you love, Your belief in your worth begins to grow naturally. Another key part of believing you deserve your dream is recognizing that growth is not instant. You do not become your strongest self overnight. You will have days when you doubt, days when you feel tired, and days when you question the journey. But believe